FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome, and you are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz, and today is February 8th, 2018. And as the year continues to move on by, well, the more things change, the more they stay the same. As the old saying goes, well, hey, anyways, figured it's time for another Triple Lutz report. This is episode 439. Hey, don't forget, this show is brought to you by healthiq.com. If you're healthy, you lead a healthy lifestyle, you're a runner, you work out, and you're looking for life insurance, this is the place to go. Just check out healthiq.com. Anyways, I wrote an article, wanted to share with you about what I would call the deep State of the Union address. And Schumer, he's the minority leader of the Senate. Pelosi, she is the minority leader of the House. And they both just happen to be Democrats. And watching that deep State of the Union address, one could not help but be shocked by the petulant, vituperative, hostile Democratic congressional delegation's attitude and demeanor. The angry scowls, the refusal to respect, to applaud, to stand up for a country that, by some measures anyway, and if you believe them, are improving, but just to show fundamental decorum and respect to the president and the country, it was just rather shocking, but not really shocking. I mean, this is kind of the world we're living in now, where fundamental and past what were normal displays of courtesy just don't go anymore. And I won't say that Trump isn't totally deserving of it. He can be bombastic, he can be angry, hostile, but usually he's doing it with a sense of humor, something which the Democratic delegation, has none of. They have not laughed at a joke. Nancy Pelosi has not smiled or laughed at a joke probably in the last 35 years. And if you take a look at her, you can totally understand it. She was there like sucking on her dentures, like munching. I don't know. She looked like a rabbit chewing on a carrot. She was bizarre. And to not stand up for the improving employment picture, it is going up a bit. It still has a long ways to go. Look, the U1 unemployment is showing 4.1%, but the U6, which includes all those people who are unemployed but have stopped collecting unemployment insurance and some other adjustments, it's closer to 8%. And when you add in underemployed people, it's even higher, but we don't really know how high it is. So this guy, West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, he wanted to clap, but then he looked like a puppy. He reminded me of my son's puppy when he had stayed with me for 2 months, and then my son came back, and the puppy is looking back and forth between me and my son, like for one of us to tell him what to do. He wasn't sure whose orders to follow. And you got to ask, why the negative display? Don't these people want what's best for America? Let's just assume that they do. The alarming answer really is quite simple. They have been permanently defeated. They look like the Patriots. They looked like Tom Brady after the Super Bowl on Sunday. They looked completely humiliated, and they've been banished to the locker room, and they're attempting to cope with what to them is an unacceptable reality, which is complete defeat. And, with the complete support of the deep state, these Democrats really believe that they could easily defeat Donald Trump, first in the election, then when that failed, in the attempted silent coup thereafter. And their naivete was reminiscent of a cocky adolescent challenging a international grandmaster chess player to a match. And you've seen this, the bombastic adolescent makes an aggressive opening gambit, and the teen, he believes that he's got the master on the run. However, what he doesn't realize, what he can't comprehend, is that the game was already lost before he moved his first pawn. Great strategists win before a shot is fired or before they take the field. Just like the Phillies did on Sunday. And I was really indifferent to the game, but I like to watch it, like to see if there's any surprises. I like to see lousy commercials, all of that. So what the deep state didn't realize and what the Democrats didn't realize is that they were beaten. Trump had beaten them when he went down that escalator. And unfortunately, nobody informed the black hats of that fact. But I want to share with you, I've gotten a scoop. I've found out what the Democrats' secret plan is to take back power. And it's called the Schwarzenegger option. So they're sensing complete defeat at the hands of Master Trump. Skynet / the Democrats know their only chance is to retroactively eliminate Trump. And with the help of a few diehard deep state black hats over at Area 51, Pelosi and Schumer are planning to use the time portal there to transport them back to 1930, which is the year that Trump's mother, Mary Ann McLeod, immigrated to the United States. And the plan is this: while she's attempting to immigrate to the U.S., they want to do a Sarah Connor on her and terminate her, or at the very least stop her from meeting Fred Trump. And thus what will happen is President Trump, Donald Trump, will have never been born, and Hillary Clinton will rightfully ascend to the presidency. You just have to keep your eyes open for a time paradox. 1 second, Trump will be president, and then the next, it'll be Hillary. And you just can't make this stuff up. So the problem with time paradoxes is, hey, once the paradox occurs, it was like Hillary Clinton was always elected president and Donald Trump never existed. But look, barring President Trump's excision from history, the Democratic Party as we know it is finished. It's morally and financially bankrupt. And unlike the Republican Party, which is just morally bankrupt, they have some money in the bank, around $40 million. It stands for absolutely nothing, just like the Republican Party. And February 1, 2018 will go down in history as the Democrat Party's Waterloo. They're never going to bounce back from this overwhelming humiliation. The best that they can hope for is that a new party will emerge from their smoldering ashes. That's what's going to happen here. You can mark my words. You can take it to the bank, whatever you want to do. Hey, I want to talk a bit about Bitcoin's plunge. I had written an article about this very thing occurring back in December 25th of last year. And I knew that it had just gone way too far, way too fast. It went down, it had broken 6,000. Right now, it's trading at $8,300. Bitcoin is the kind of price you really don't want to keep track of all that closely because it's impossible to really keep track of it. 24/7 market, it's always going up and down. Look, I knew Bitcoin's plunge was coming the past week, but I'll talk more about that up next. Right now, here's a message from Health IQ, our sponsor, and I hope you check them out. If you lead a healthy lifestyle, this is for you.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
FSN is now sponsored by Health IQ, which is an insurance company that helps health-conscious people like you get lower rates on your life insurance. You probably didn't know that people with a high health IQ are 42% less likely to be obese and have a 50% lower hospitalization rate than those with a low health IQ. Living an overall healthy lifestyle can lower your risk of cardiovascular disease and all causes of mortality by 57 to 60%. Physically active people such as myself I bike ride, try to do 30, 40 miles a week, and I feel great. And I'm lowering my risk of heart disease by over half, as well as reducing the risk of cancer by 22% over those of you who are inactive. So if you're health conscious and want to save on your life insurance, go to healthiq.com/FSN. You heard it, healthiq.com/FSN. See if you qualify and start saving today.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
All right, so we're back. So it's talking about how I knew Bitcoin was going to collapse this week. There were 4 negative articles, probably more, but only 4 that I caught. One of them was, it's just so funny the way they come up. You just know, like, before I get into the articles, and I'll talk about them, I'm not going to read them to you. I don't want to bore you. But look, originally, the mainstream media, they have just regarded Bitcoin as kind of a passing fancy, a phenomena. They never really took it seriously. And that was really to their chagrin. But now Bitcoin has become a threat to the Federal Reserve. You know, we talked with Jeff Christian, CPM Group. His feeling is, Bitcoin is a flea on the butt of the monetary system. Nobody notices it, but sometimes those fleas can bite, and their bites can become very inflamed and really do a number on these, on their host, if you will. So the Times had 2 negative articles about Bitcoin. Like I say, the Times has been following it, but from afar, never taking it seriously. And the first one was on February 5th. As Bitcoin bubble loses air, frauds and flaws rise to the surface. And of course, the flaws really don't have anything to do with Bitcoin. The main flaws of Bitcoin is it's a 1 megabit block and makes for slow transmission of data, slow updating of the live journals. That's a bad thing. And then the other flaw is, well, in their opinion, there's probably not enough of them. You know, this guy, they quote Kevin Werbach, a professor at University of Pennsylvania Wharton School, said cryptocurrencies are almost a perfect vehicle for scams. The combination of credulous buyers and low barriers for scammers were bound to lead to a high level of fraud if and when the money involved got large. The fact that the money got huge almost overnight before there were good regulatory or even self-regulatory models in place made the problem acute. Yeah, well, you know, like, thank you very much, Professor. What you said is absolutely useful. The point is, of Bitcoin, it's not regulated. It's a free trading, competing currency. Murray Rothbard would have been proud. Article on January 31st that really tipped it off for me. Also in the Times, it's not something I read, but I read blogs and they picked it up. Worries grow that the price of Bitcoin is being propped up. This actually happened to have been a good article. I have told you for years that this price is completely manipulated. So there's an exchange, Bitfinex, that's being investigated. They issued a virtual currency called Tether, which is convertible into other kleptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, and supposedly 1 Tether equals $1. So it's not backed by $1, but it's just like the yuan is fixed in dollar terms. And that's exactly what they have done here. Well, hundreds of millions of dollars flood into Bitfinex, and then the market for Bitcoin and other kleptos goes up. Well, gee, is that a coincidence or what? So look, regulation's very sketchy. If they're doing this from the Channel Islands, or they're doing it from Nigeria, or from any number of places, there's nothing the regulators can do about this. Really tough. Bitfinex, though, has been subpoenaed by the CFTC, and, you know, they say they've gained a reputation for a lack of transparency and a confusing structure. Well, hello, with European executives and offices in Asia and registration in the Caribbean. Well, you know, can you spell fraud? So that was another article. There was a scholarly article done by a couple of academics that you have to go to Science Direct to see it. What they said, and you have to buy this thing too, but the excerpts are very telling. They went back to the Mt. Gox exchange debacle, which happened, 2013 or 14. And what they found was that Mt. Gox, people on the Mt. Gox exchange had almost single-handedly manipulated the price of Bitcoin from $200 a Bitcoin to over $1,000. And they had improperly, fraudulently acquired $188 million worth of Bitcoins, 600,000 of them to be precise. And like I say, this was another indicator that the financial orthodoxy was starting to take this stuff seriously. And, when you're a threat to governments, because look, government's biggest power, besides the military, the police, and all that, but what makes all those other powers possible is the issuance of currency, the sovereign ability, the sovereign right to issue a country's currency. This is what they're all about. When you start messing with that, you are messing with the very underpinnings of government, and there's going to be a backlash. My gut feel is that Bitcoin probably going to drop in that 4,500 to 5,800 range, but I believe it's going to come back. I believe that unlike traditional bubbles of yesteryear, we are going to have repeated bubbles in these cryptocurrencies as they can do more, as they're shielded, as they're more transferable, more private. You are going to see other ones blow up like these. A guy named Cliff High, who predicted that Bitcoin, this was in 2009 when it was $2, that in 2018, February 2018, this month would reach a high of 13,800. Cliff was a little far off. It hit close to 20,000, 19.5 back in December. But hey, man, nobody else made a call like that. That was a brilliant call. I don't know how he did it. He supposedly uses these bots on Google that measure search frequency and positivity or negativity of the searches. I don't know how the guy does it, but I'm freaking impressed. I wish I had been able to do it. I would have bought a lot more than I did. I didn't buy enough, but it's going to go back up. He's saying 100,000. I'm not so sanguine about it. If it gets below 6,000, it's probably going to be a buy because it'll probably be pushed down even further. Right now at 8,300, they're saying happy days are here again. Don't you believe it? This is going to take another hit, just like the stock market did. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the stock market's plunge, 1,800 points in 2 days. Gold has gone down. Gold's on it does these 8-week cycles. It's on a low. Silver's back down to $16.50. I mean, this kind of stuff to be expected, but gold is going to be another really solid performer this year. Probably you're looking late third quarter, fourth quarter, where it makes its major move. It's still at $13.17 the ounce. Not so bad. Silver, $16.38. So market though, look, I believe the stock market, I think Armstrong is probably correct. It's still got some life in it. Money is going there. Look, alternatives, if it takes another hit, money will go into gold, precious metals. These cryptocurrency kids, they don't understand money. They don't understand that they've got lighted sticks of dynamite in their hands. And when I talked to my friend and I said, hey, I warned you about this. I told you this crash was coming. I told you to sell half of everything because you locked in some really great returns. I mean, he had doubled on Bitcoin. He had quadrupled on Ethereum and a couple of others, Litecoin. I said, what I told you last time is that, of course, Bitcoin's going to go to infinity, just like gold and silver was going to go to infinity in 2011, like .coms were just going to keep going up and up, like your home always appreciates, all that stuff. So I said, look, sell half of it, and that way you'll still have half left. So you'll only have half of infinity. You're not going to capture the full infinite return. In the meantime, you got a profit. You'll be able to reinvest it when it crashes, which it will. And, he just thought I was insane. But I've seen one too many of these bubbles not to be taken in by them. But expect repeated bubbles in these cryptocurrencies because a lot of people who had the fear of missing out, they see Bitcoin lost more than half its value. They're hopping back in, as well as into the other kleptos. Some of them are real. I see them as very useful. I'm not anti-crypto. Oh, yeah. Hey, email me, by the way. I forgot. kl@kerrylutz.com, and I answer all your letters. That is a promise. Love to hear from you. You're going to set up the hotline again so you can call in, leave messages, and I'll play them back on air if it's okay with you. Obviously, by calling the number, you'll consent to me doing that. Well, that's really it for today. Just remember, check out healthiq.com if you're leading a healthy lifestyle. It's really going to do wonders for your life insurance. So check it out, healthiq.com. It's been another Triple Lutz Report. This is Kerry Lutz signing off.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.